As a beginner, over 40, 2 to 3 strength sessions a week on non consecutive days is the sweet spot. I think the word gym stops quite a lot of people before they ever begin. You do not have to train in a gym. You have options, and every single one of them does something valuable. You can train at home with a few pieces of equipment and your own body weight and get remarkably far. So, if the gym intimidates you today, just start where you are. Start at home, start in the trail, build some confidence and capacity, and let the gym be a goal you grow into, not a wall you have to scale before you're allowed to begin. Welcome to the Vitality Choice. I'm your host, Christine Costello, wellness educator, founder of a science backed supplement brand, and someone who has spent decades studying and applying the science of what allows the body to stay strong, energized, and resilient through midlife and beyond. This podcast is about rewriting the narrative on aging. Each week, we explore the everyday choices that shape how we age, from strength and metabolism to nutrition, mindset, recovery, and connection, so you can live stronger, healthier, and more vital at any age. Because aging isn't the problem, decline is. And when you understand how your body actually works, you can make the choices that allow you to age powerfully. So let's dive in. Last episode, I sat down with Beth, and one thing she said has stuck with me. She talked about how the body is always communicating with us, that the symptoms and sensations we're so quick to dismiss are actual information, if we'd only slow down and listen. And I want to start today's episode there, because it turns out that this lesson actually applies to something you might not expect, and that's strength training. Because here's what I've learned in 25 years of doing this. The people who get strong and stay strong aren't the ones grinding through workouts with gritted teeth, ignoring every signal their body sends. They're the ones who learn to listen, who feel the difference between good effort and bad pain, who notice which side is weaker, which movement feels off, and where they're compensating. Your body is talking during every rep. This episode is partly about teaching you how to hear it, but mostly it's about answering a question I get more than almost any other. Christine, I've never done this. I'm over 40. Where do I even start? And I love that question because the answer is going to save you months, maybe years of wasted effort. Most people really start strength training by doing the wrong thing pretty well. Today I'm going to show you how to do the right thing, even if you do it a little clumsily at first. And I promise you, I know exactly where you're standing because I didn't touch a single weight until I was 30 years old, not one. So wherever you're at right now, I've been there too, and I want to tell you how it went. I started in my 30s and I started on machines. You know, the big weight stack machines with that little diagram showing you what to do, tucked safely off to the side. I lived over there because the free weight area that really felt like forbidden territory, full of grunting men and clanging metal and people who clearly knew what they were doing. Well, I clearly did not. And one day, a man actually said it to my face. He told me women didn't belong in the free weight area because we don't lift heavy enough to need it. I want you to sit with how absurd that really is. But at the time, it worked. It kept me small. It kept me on the machines, in my lane, exactly where that kind of thinking wanted me. But the good news is, I didn't listen to that forever. And hold that thought because I'm going to come back to that man at the end of this episode. I think you're really going to enjoy where the story actually ends. So let's get into this. First, I want to reframe something because the words we use shape exactly what we do. And this particular word changed everything for me. So I don't say it lightly. You are not starting a weightlifting habit, you are starting a training program. And those are definitely not the same thing. Working out, the way most beginners imagine it, is walking into a gym, wandering over to a machine, doing a few things that work your arms because you can see your arms in the mirror, and then leaving. It's a collection of random exercises. And that was me for years on those machines. I was working out. I was definitely not training. Training is different. Training has intention, it has direction. Every session is building towards something specific, and the movements are chosen because they matter, not because the machine happened to be open and available. I'll tell you exactly when that word entered my life because it marks a before and an after. It was at 41 when I decided to compete in figure competitions and I hired a respected lifting coach. Up to that point, for a decade, I had been working out. The day I started with that coach was the day I started training. Same body, same gym, completely different results. That one shift in intention is the difference maker, and it's the word I still use with myself every single day. I know what some of you are thinking right now. Christine, I don't need a program. I'm not trying to be an athlete. I just want to be able to carry my groceries and get off the floor and keep up with my grandkids and just live my life. And the answer is yes. Exactly. That is the goal. And that is precisely why you need to train the right way from day one, because those things you just described carrying, standing up, bending down, keeping up those are trained. Those are specific buildable capacities. And there's a smartest possible way to build them. So let me tell you what that is. Here's the thing that nobody really wants to hear because it doesn't sound that exciting. The best way to train, especially as a beginner over 40, is to focus almost all of your energy on a small handful of big, compound, functional movements. Let me define what that means because they're actually doing a lot of work. So, what is a compound movement? A compound movement is one that uses multiple joints and multiple muscle groups at the same time. A squat bends your ankles, knees, and hips all at once, and it fires up your legs, your glutes, your core, your back. And then compare that to a machine that isolates just your bicep. One of those gives you an enormous return, the other one just gives you a nicer bicep. And then functional, what does that actually mean? Functional means the movement looks like something you actually do in real life. A squat is standing up from a chair. A hinge is picking something up off of the floor. A carry is hauling groceries in from your car. You are literally rehearsing your own life, just made stronger. Now, why does this matter so much for a beginner? And there's three reasons, and I want you to really hear these. Reason one, it is wildly efficient. When you train a compound movement, you're working 10 muscles instead of one. That means you can build a complete, effective routine out of just 5 or 6 movements. You are not spending 2 hours in a gym doing 30 different exercises. You are in and out in 45 minutes, having trained your entire body. And for a busy person, this is everything. The best routine in the world is worthless if it's too long to actually do. And then reason two, it builds a body that works, not just a body that looks worked. These movements train your body to coordinate, to balance, to move as an integrated system. That translates directly into mobility, into stability, into the ability to trust your body in the real world. Isolation exercises build a muscle. Compound movements build a capable human being. And then reason three, it builds strength, power, and muscle all at once. And this is where I need to slow down just a little bit because there's a distinction here that almost nobody teaches, and that might be the most important thing you actually hear today. When most people picture getting fit, they picture bigger muscle size. And the size is fine, size is nice, but here's the truth that took me years to fully understand. Size is not the metric that matters most as you age. Strength and power are. So let's untangle these three because they get lumped together and then they really shouldn't. What is size? Size is exactly that. It's just how big the muscle is. It's the aesthetic piece. It matters the least for how your life actually goes. Strength and power. Those are the two that matter most. And strength is how much force you can produce, how heavy a thing you can lift, push, or carry. This is what lets you pick up a grandchild, move furniture, open a stuck jar, get yourself up off of the ground. And then power, this is really just how fast you can produce that force. It's strength with speed attached. And here's why power may be the single most important thing on this list. Picture this. You're walking and your toe catches the edge of the rug. In that split second, your body has to fire hard and fast to catch you before you go down. That is power, not strength. Power, the ability to generate force instantly. And here's the most sobering part. Power declines faster than strength as we age. It's the first thing to go, which is exactly why it's the thing we need to protect the most. The research is clear that power and strength are far more predictive of independence, of avoiding falls, of staying out of a nursing home than muscle size ever was. So when someone tells me they just want to tone up, I gently tell them that they're really aiming at the wrong target. Aim at strength, aim at power. The way you look will take care of itself along the way, and you'll get something far more valuable in the bargain, a body that you can count on for a long time. And the good news for beginners is that when you're new to training, your body responds to everything at once. You'll build strength, power, and muscle simultaneously in your first months. It's the one and only time in your training life that you actually get all three for free. As you progress, you'll learn to cycle your focus, spending time emphasizing each, but at the start, simply showing up and doing the movements well gives you just all of it. And let me show you what that cycling can look like in real life. And because I'm actually doing that right now myself, these days I've been training primarily for strength. That's been my focus. But recently I noticed that while I've been doing my training, certain single leg movements are starting to feel a little wobbly, a little unsteady in a way that they hadn't before. That's my body talking to me and I'm listening. So I am now shifting a portion of my training toward power, and I'm not abandoning my strength, just redirecting some of my energy to shore up what my body has told me needs attention. That's the cycling and action. You can read the signal, you adjust the focus, and you just keep moving forward. And notice I keep saying training, not working out, because I have a specific objective. I'm tracking it and I'm adjusting deliberately. That word is doing exactly what it should. Okay, so which movements do you need to do? If we're going to build a whole training life on a small handful of patterns, what are they? There are 6 foundational movement patterns. Learn these, and you've essentially covered every way the human body is designed to move. Everything else is a variation on these themes. And the encouraging part is that each one has a ladder, a progression that you can go from the gentlest starting position all the way up to the loaded, most challenging version. You start at the rung that fits you today, and you can climb from there. So I'm going to give you a ladder for each one of those. The first one is the squat. This is simply sitting down and standing back up. This is the pattern behind getting out of a chair, off the toilet, up from the floor. Lose this one, and you actually lose your independence. Nothing really dramatic about it, and nothing more important. The ladder for this one is start by sitting down to a chair and standing back up slowly and with control. Then a box squat, lowering to a bench and standing without fully resting. Then a free body weight squat to depth. Then hold a single weight at your chest, a goblet squat. From there, a barbell on your back or heavier loading. Same pattern the whole way up, only the challenge changes. And then number 2 is the hinge. This is bending at the hips to pick something up with a flat back. This is the deadlift pattern, and it's the one that protects your lower back for life. Most back injuries in daily life happen because someone hinged badly picking something up that was kind of light. Learn this one properly and you armor your spine, and I have a personal soft spot for this one, as you'll hear in a few minutes. The ladder for this is just start with a hip hinge holding a broomstick along your back to teach a flat spine. Then a hinge to a low box so you learn the range. Then pick a light weight up off of a raised surface, a kettlebell on a couple boxes. Then from a lower surface, then a full deadlift from the floor, adding weight over time. The flat back is the non negotiable at every rung. And I would say, including that flat neck. And then 3, the push. Pushing something away from you or pushing yourself up, a push or a press, a push up or a press. This is getting up off of the ground with your arms, pushing a heavy door, putting a suitcase in the overhead bin. The ladder for this one is start with a push up against a wall, then a push up with your hands on a countertop or a sturdy bench, then incline getting lower as you get stronger, then a push up from the floor on your knees, then a full push up. For overhead pressing, start pushing light dumbbells and build the load from there. And then the 4th movement is the pull. This is just pulling something toward you, a row, a pull down, the one that builds the back and the posture that counters all the hunching we do over phones and desks. Pulling strength is what keeps you upright and tall as you age. So the ladder for this one is start with a resistance band anchored to a door, pulling towards you, then a single arm row with a light dumbbell supported on a bench, then heavier rows. Then work toward assisted pull downs or one day a real pull up. Pulling is often where beginners are weakest, so just expect that this is going to take some patience, and that's pretty normal. And the 5th movement is the carry. This is literally picking something up heavy and walking around with it. This is the most underrated movement in all of fitness, and it's the most directly useful. Groceries, luggage, a bag of mulch, a grandchild on your hip. Carrying trains your grip, your core, and your whole body stability all at once. And the ladder for this one is really quite simple. Start by carrying a moderate weight in each hand and walking a short distance with tall posture. Then increase the weight. Then increase the distance. Then try carrying a heavy weight in just one hand, which lights up your core even more. You are quite literally training for real life here. And the sixth and final movement is the lunge, stepping and lowering one leg at a time. This trains balance and single leg stability, which is what you're actually using every time you climb the stairs or step off of a curb. We spend most of life on one leg at a time, and we rarely train that way. This is, by the way, in the family of movements that started feeling wobbly for me, and the reason I'm adding the power work now. So, the ladder for this one is just start by holding onto something stable and doing a shallow split squat, 1 foot forward, one back, lowering just a little, then go deeper without holding on. Then a full body weight lunge, then add weight in your hands, then stepping lunges that travel. Balance improves at every rung, which is exactly why this pattern is so valuable as we age. So that's it. Squat, hinge, push, pull, carry, lunge. Master these 6 patterns and you have a body prepared for nearly everything that life asks of it. You could train for the rest of your life on nothing but these and their variations and be in the top few percent of people as you age. And notice what's not on the list: bicep curls, crunches, the leg extension machine, the stuff people gravitate toward because it feels productive and looks like exercise. And there's nothing wrong with these, but these are the garnish. This is where the fine tuning comes in. It's really not the meal. Build that meal first. Now, here's where I have to be the voice in your ear that keeps you safe, because this is where beginners often get hurt and then derailed. You need to earn the movement before you load the movement. So, what does that actually mean? Before you pile weight onto a squat, you need to be able to squat well with no weight at all. The pattern is the most important. The load comes second, always in that order. Think of it like handwriting. You don't hand a child a pen and ask them to write fast and beautifully on day one. You teach them the shape of the letters slowly and imperfectly until the shape becomes automatic. Then speed and elegance come on their own. Movement is the same. Groove the pattern first. The strength gets built on top of the pattern that's solid. That is exactly what my coach gave me at 41. And I want to be clear about something because I think it'll encourage you. When I started training with him, I was definitely not strong, not even close to where I am now. What he gave me first wasn't heavyweight, it was the movements done correctly over and over until the patterns were clean and automatic. The strength came later and it came fast because it was built on a foundation that was actually sound. And here's the beautiful part: because we're training patterns your body already knows, you're not learning something foreign. You're already squat every time you sit down. You already hinge, badly maybe, every time you pick something up. We're not teaching your body new tricks. We're just refining what it already does and making it strong and safe. And I know some of you are worried right now. You're thinking, what if I do it wrong? What if I hurt myself? I can't tell if I'm doing it right. I mean, those are perfectly legitimate fears and concerns, and I don't want to wave that away. So here's what I want you to do about it. If there's any way you can swing it, hire a trainer or a coach for even a handful of sessions at the start. Not forever, just long enough to learn the 6 patterns with somebody watching your body and correcting you in real time. It's the single best investment a beginner can make, and it's exactly what I did. That coach that I hired at 41 is the reason my movement was sound before my weights ever got heavy, and it's the reason I'm still lifting heavy today at 56. If a trainer genuinely isn't in the budget, and I understand that it isn't for everyone, then become a student of the movements. Watch those how to videos, and I mean a lot of them, from reputable strength coaches. Film yourself from the side with your phone and compare. Your body will tell you things, but a good coach or a good video teaches you what to listen for in the first place. There is no shame in starting with help. The strongest, most experienced lifters I know still have coaches watching their form. Getting eyes on your movement isn't a sign you're behind, it's really a sign that you're serious. Let's answer some practical questions. How many days a week? How long each time? And how many reps of everything? So let's make this simpler than the fitness world makes it sound. How often really should just be about 2 to 3 days a week. That's it. That's all you really need. As a beginner, over 40, 2 to 3 strength sessions a week on non-consecutive days is the sweet spot. Non-consecutive is important because remember what we covered a few episodes back? Muscle isn't built during training, it's built during recovery. Those rest days between sessions aren't you being lazy. That's when the actual building happens. 2 quality sessions with recovery beats 6 frantic ones that never let you rebuild. And then how long? All you need is about 30 to 45 minutes for each session. That's the payoff of training those compound movements because each one works so much of your body at once. You don't need marathon sessions. 30 to 45 focus minutes covers it. If you're in the gym for 2 hours, you're either socializing or just doing too much. And neither one is true training. Now, how many reps? It depends on what you're actually building. So let's talk about those three goals from earlier back because each one lives in a different rep range. And this is one of those things that once you know it, you'll never have to figure it out again. For muscle building, the range is roughly 8 to 12 reps per set with a moderate weight and short rest between sets. This is about a minute to 90 seconds. This is the range where you build size and a strong foundation. It's not the only way to build muscle, but that's the general rule. And for strength, the range drops to about 3 to 6 reps with a heavier weight and longer rest. This think 2 to 3 minutes or more. Fewer reps, more weight, more recovery between sets. That's where you build the raw force that runs your life. It's my favorite training spot. For power, the range is low, about 1 to 5 reps. But here's the twist: the weight is lighter to moderate, and you move it fast, explosively. The speed is the entire point. You're training your body to produce force quickly, which is the thing that fades fastest as we age. So what do you do as a beginner? Well, first off, don't overthink it. For the first several weeks, live almost entirely in that 8 to 12 rep range with moderate weight. Do not rush to heavy strength work or explosive power work yet. This early phase is where you groove the patterns and build a base. Start with 2 sets of each movement, build up to 3. Once your movements are clean and automatic, then you can earn your way into the heavier strength ranges and later the explosive power work. You build the house before you decorate it. So, how do you actually know when you've mastered a movement and you're ready to climb to the next rung or add extra weight? This is the question nobody answers super clearly, so I'm going to give you a real standard that you can use. You're ready to progress when you can do all of your planned reps with clean form and the last couple still feel controlled rather than desperate. So let's make that a little more concrete. Say your plan is 3 sets of 10. You've mastered your current level where you can hit all 3 sets of 10. Your form looks the same on the last rep as it did on the first, and you finish thinking, I probably had 2 or 3 more in me. That's the signal. That pattern is grooved, the weight is no longer a challenge, and your body is asking for more. When you get there, you climb. Either move to the next harder version of the movement, add a little more weight, not a lot. Small and steady increases are how this one works. A few pounds, one rung. Then you settle in to that level until it too becomes comfortable, and then you climb again. This is the whole game, repeated for years. The flip side also matters too. If your form is breaking down, if you can't complete your reps, if the last rep looks nothing like the first, you're definitely not ready to add weight yet. Stay where you are, and there really is no prize for rushing, and rushing is really how people get hurt. But now I want to talk about something else, the thing that too few people, especially women, are ever told. When you're ready to add weight, don't be afraid of it. I really need you to hear this because fear of lifting too heavy or getting bulky keeps so many people, particularly women, doing the same 3 pound dumbbells for years while their muscle starts to slip away. And the reality is, the older we get, the more real the challenge has to be. Muscle loss accelerates with age. To not just slow that loss, but to reverse it, your muscles have to be genuinely challenged. A weight that felt hard at 40 will not be enough at 60 if you never increased it. Light, comfortable weights that never change do not outpace the muscle loss of aging. They just keep you company while it happens. And no, appropriate weight training is not going to make you bulky. Building significant size takes enormous, deliberate effort, specific eating, and years of focused work. What challenging weight will do is make you strong, capable, toned, and resilient. It will protect your bones. It will keep you independent. It will let you break a deadlift record at 56 if you want to. So respect the progression, earn each rung, but when you've earned it, climb without fear. The weight is not your enemy. Avoiding it is. Before you build a plan, you need to know what your starting line is, and your starting line is personal. Some of you come to this with decent mobility, but no strength. Some of you are strong from physical work, but stiff as a board. Some of you have a cranky knee or a shoulder that does not love overhead movement or a back that you're nervous about. All of that matters, and all of that changes where you begin. You just really need to take a clear inventory. Where are you tight? Where are you weak? Where does your body feel unstable or unsure? What's the thing you already can't do that you wish you could? That inventory tells you what needs the most attention first. Maybe your squat pattern is fine, but you have zero pulling strength and the posture to prove it. Then you emphasize pulling. Maybe your balance is shaky, so lunges and single leg work move to the front of the line. That is what I meant earlier about cycling your focus. It's exactly what I have to do right now with my own single leg wobble. You're not doing everything at maximum all the time. You're reading your own body and directing your energy where it's needed the most, then adjusting as you go. This is where you're just listening again. The willingness to notice what your body is actually telling you and to train the person you are, not the person in the workout video. The word gym stops quite a lot of people before they ever begin. So let's take some of that pressure off. You do not have to train in a gym. You have options, and every single one of them does something valuable. You can train at home with a few pieces of equipment and your own body weight and get remarkably far. You can hike, which loads your legs, challenges your balance on uneven ground, and builds real world lower body strength and endurance. You can take a kickboxing class, which builds power, coordination, and conditioning in a way that's genuinely fun. You can pair any of these together hiking plus some home strength work, kickboxing plus a couple gym days. Every environment contributes. Movement is movement, and the best routine is the one that you'll actually keep doing. And now I'm going to tell you something you deserve to hear straight, not just wrapped in encouragement. And the best results really do come from the gym. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. A gym gives you access to progressive load, the ability to add weight steadily over time, which is the engine of getting stronger. It gives you the tools to train all six patterns fully. If your goal is maximum strength and power for the long haul, the gym is where that's built. But, and this really does matter, the gym you never go to builds absolutely nothing. So if the gym intimidates you today, just start where you are. Start at home, start in the trail, build some confidence and capacity, and let the gym be a goal you grow into, not a wall you have to scale before you're allowed to begin. And if you do walk into that gym and feel like you don't belong, just remember my story. Remember the machines I hit on. Remember the man who told me women don't belong in the free weight area. Every person in that gym who looks like they belong there had a very first day where they felt exactly like you do. Nobody is watching you. They're actually all too worried about themselves. I promise you that. So let's pull this all together into what you can actually do this week. First, go ahead and pick your patterns, not your muscles. Stop thinking about arms and abs. Start thinking in the six patterns: squat, hinge, push, pull, carry, lunge. Write them down. That's your whole framework. Everything you do fits into one of those boxes. Second, earn the movement before you load it. This week, just practice patterns with your own body weight. A body weight squat, a hip hinge with a broomstick to keep your back flat. Imagine somebody watching you do that. Groove the shape before you ever add a single pound. And third, just really get your eyes on the form. Book a few sessions with a trainer if you possibly can. If not, just become a serious student of the how to videos from real strength coaches and film yourself to compare. Don't skip this. It's the difference between building on a rock and building on sand. And fourth, take your inventory. Ask yourself where you're tight, where you're weak, where you feel unsure. Let that tell you what to prioritize. Train the body you actually have today. And fifth, let's keep it simple 2 to 3 days, 30 to 45 minutes. Start in the 8 to 12 rep range with a moderate weight while you learn the patterns. 2 sets building to three. And when the weight starts to feel easy and your form holds, add a little. Don't fear the weight. As we age, the challenge has to be real or we don't outpace the muscle loss. And sixth, just begin wherever you are at the home, on the trail, studio, or gym. The best environment is the one that gets you moving today. Aim toward the gym over time, but do not let it be the reason you wait. Now, I promised you that I'd come back to that man, the one who told me all those years ago that women didn't belong in the free weight area because we don't lift heavy enough. I started on machines at 30. I picked up that word training at 41. And just last week, at 56 years old, I broke my own personal deadlifting record: 225 pounds for one single rep, 205 pounds for 5 reps. I was really super stoked about that. That's more than my body weight lifted off the floor by a woman in her mid 50s who didn't touch a weight until she was 30 and was once told she didn't belong. So I'll ask it in the way I like to ask it now. Who says a woman doesn't belong in the free weight area? I tell you that really not to impress you, but to show you what's possible. Because I'm not that special. I'm not that gifted with unusual genetics. I'm a woman who started late, learned the movements, trained with intention, and listened to her body and just kept going. Every single thing I did is available to you too. You are not too old, too late, or too far behind. The six patterns we talked about today are the same six your body has been doing your whole life. We're not starting from zero, we're just getting intentional. Start with the movements that matter. Get the pattern right, listen to what your body tells you, and aim always at strength and power because those are the currencies of a life that you can live fully on your own terms for a very long time. In our next episode, we're going to talk about cardio. And specifically, I'm going to clear up the enormous confusion around what kind of cardio actually serves your longevity versus what just makes you tired. If you've ever wondered whether all those hours of cardio are helping or hurting, you won't want to miss it. Until then, your body was built to move. Give it something worth moving for. Thanks for spending this time with me today on the Vitality Choice. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to follow the show so you never miss an episode. And if you know someone who wants to stay strong, capable, and independent as they age, share this episode with them because how we age matters, and the choices we make today shape the life we live tomorrow. I'll see you next week.